Hi everyone, welcome to our this week's Facebook Live, and I'm super excited to be able to introduce the wonderful Jennifer Byrne. Jennifer is going to talk to us today about Facebook pages, our Facebook business page, and how we can make them profit-generating machines. Jennifer is a photographer and photo educator and Facebook page expert, so we are super excited to have her in our community to give us some insights into how we can all make our Facebook pages better. So, Jennifer, over to you. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm excited to help you all and take a look through some of what you're doing and see if I can offer some suggestions.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we are all really excited to hear about your tips and tricks so that we can achieve what you have achieved, which I should just tell you guys. Jennifer has actually managed to accumulate almost 50,000 fans on her business page. So watch and learn, guys. Okay, so yeah, do tell us. If you'd like to start by just telling us a bit about your business and what you do and how you've achieved this impressive feat, then we would love to hear from you. Thanks.
Sure. So hi again, and I am a photographer. I'm a fine arts photographer, and I started doing well, I have a fine arts background from school, and I started shooting a lot of landscape shortly after I had my first child, because I was managing the studio for another photographer, and I was traveling a long distance back and forth. And so I started to see this beautiful sunrise and sunset, and this is about 2013, and I realized the only thing I have with me is my iPhone 6 or something. And I had a young child, so I couldn't really haul a lot of equipment around with me, and I needed a way that I could just photograph what I was seeing, share it, and then just go about my day. And so I had stumbled across Facebook business pages. Probably I had a social profile just as a personal page, but then I started my business page around the same time. And as I was posting these local landscapes, I realized they were starting to get a lot of traction. And it was, I'd go places locally, and the cashier at a local grocery store would say, "Oh, you're Jennifer, you're that photographer." And I realized it wasn't just my group, but it was my audience's audience. And I started realizing how powerful this could be if I could just figure out how to keep it going. And if and that's when, I think it was that year or the following year, that someone told me, or I may have heard in an interview, someone saying, if I could give an entrepreneur advice right now, and this is 2014, it was to build the biggest audience that you can. Just start it and run like hell. And so that's what I did. I just figured, if I can get some traction here, I'm just going to do this, because you could kind of see how everything was becoming online. But at the same time, it was sort of like I could see both the early photography. So the studio I was managing was all analog film, converting to digital. So I was right at that time where I could see where it was going. And once I decided, that's what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make a really big audience so that I'm going to keep track of them. So long story short, in my journey to create this audience, I managed to get my page put in jail or frozen 3 different times. So I went through all the steps of being suspended. Like in 2015, they froze it for 3 days, then they took it away for a week, and then they took it away for, they just sort of froze all of the features for a month. And I realized I got so angry during that time, because I felt like, why is this big company have all of this power and I can't? There must be some recourse. So I became very obsessed with this idea of figuring out how the page worked, you know, what was successful, what was all of the, I mean, the only person that would be this fascinated is someone who is trying to build a large audience very quickly and wanting to know what are the rules, you know, what is dictating how far my posts are going, what, and at that time, it was, we didn't even have as strict of a news feed. So to see how it's now is just, you know, stunning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fascinating. Can I ask what it was that caused your page to be suspended? Did you ever find out?
I did. So 2016, I stumbled across what I think was a beta feature now, where I was given, because my page very quickly, I was able to push it to about 5,000 people. I realized that if I posted a photograph, let's say of, you know, the sunset on May 22nd at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I pinned the location of where I had taken the photo, people in that location, which was my local area, would share that image very, very quickly because they were so proud. They were like, this is my town. Like, this is Charlottesville at, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning, and I live here. And so it was so emotional for them. It hit them, and they were like very, very quick to share it. And at that time in 2016, sharing was still a big thing, right, for pages.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's almost, you're being almost penalized.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's gone completely reversed. And so all of the statistics and metrics and everything that used to work has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it from the beginning and then gone straight through it and seen all of the changes, all of the rules, it's really hard to know where we are now, how we got here, and what is keeping your page from growing, and without having an idea, because Facebook always has the upper hand, right? But it would be nice if we just knew the rules. Like, that would be fine if we just knew what the rules were, but they change them every hour at this point. There's a new, every time you log into Facebook, it's been updated every single hour, because that's, I mean, you're talking 2 billion users. So that's a lot of people.
Yeah, and also the political agendas behind it.
Yeah.
Well. And they're not even necessarily political, but whatever they can do, whatever Facebook can do, and whoever they're in cahoots with to generate income and revenue for themselves, we are not relevant to them.
Yeah.
The small people, as the small to medium sized enterprises, we're just not relevant, and there is no real appeal process, and it I find it incredible that they have as much power as they do, and that there's no legislation. I mean, we have antitrust laws in place, and yet they don't seem to touch Facebook in any way.
It's so fat. It's gotten so out of control so quickly too that they can barely rein it in. So that's some of the problem. And I guess that's why with my story, I felt like I was determined. I mean, I would say borderline obsessed with figuring this out so that I could use it to my advantage, so that I felt kind of very David and Goliath. Like, I was going to take on this big, and what's funny, what I get a kick out of, at least, is that now, all of these years down the line, I'm still in a private research pool that Facebook has created of us that were sort of early adopters, and they're very curious. Like, I've had a lot of calls with Facebook where developers have researched and said, like, how did you figure this out? What did you do? How did you build this? Because it's a really curious situation, right? Because they were like, how did this girl in Virginia do this, and manage to figure out all of these different metrics? So.
As you say that, actually, something just popped in my head. We have a group member, Bill Watts, who made a comment that he was concerned about posting for a second time in the group because of the algorithm. Not sure if that's accurate or not, but I thought I'd just put the question out there for you to, give your opinion on that.
He's concerned. He's afraid to post a second
time in the group because he thinks that his post may get lost by the algorithm or suppressed, perhaps.
Okay. Well, yeah. So the algorithm is really it's complicated. I wouldn't worry about that, especially within groups. So right now, groups have been given kind of a free card to do as they please, at least for the next probably 2 months. And already, of course, they're planning to monetize. They're going to push everything into groups, and then they're going to start trying to charge group owners for, access to our own people, because the ads will come into the groups instead of just in the feed. And so there's definitely sort of a doom and gloom look out for that part. But at the same time, there's a lot that we can do. I do have, if it's helpful to you or to your audience, I have a slide show that I go through with some of my new students. I don't know how to share it with you though. Can I share my screen sometime? Oh, I have share screen down here.
Screen down there, yes.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll just go through it real quick, and we won't spend.
Right. And then if perhaps we could have the slideshow, maybe you could send it to me, and I'll share it with anyone that's interested in the group.
Sure,
that might
absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to hit share screen, and then tell me if you can.
We might actually be able to put. Let's have a look.
Oh, it says I have to add an extension.
Oh.
Are you still here?
I'm still here. I can see you, but that's a shame that you aren't able to do that. Is there?
I think it will do it pretty quickly. Let me just give it a.
Oh, okay.
Shot. Okay. What about? Oh yeah, this looks good. So can you see a desktop that looks like something exploded?
Let's add that to the stream now. There we go. What do we have? So
it's this.
You need to. Yes, you'll need to share that. Okay, great.
Why can't I? Oh, I think I have to get this out of the way. How's that? Can you see a ton of photographs on the desktop?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes,
can you?
Better. We're seeing that now. That's great.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I'll try to go through it quickly, because I can, and just cut me off whenever, because I can get a little long-winded about this.
No, that's cool.
So I call it You Better Fix Your Facebook. And sort of the second part of this is to say you need to do this because whatever you're doing now is essentially paramount to watching paint dry. Like if you don't know these rules, it's really hard to get any traction. So, okay. Facebook business pages. And tell me if this is too boring too.
No, it won't be. This is going to be great.
Okay.
You need to know this, because I don't know about everybody else, but I want 50,000 fans on my Facebook page. Thank you very much.
So I always tell my students, you need a Facebook business page. I know they're a giant pain. It really feels defeatist. It's like, why even try?
It does feel that way, yes.
It does, yeah.
I'm really interested to learn, yes.
So we know that unless you live on a desert island, Facebook is reaching everything. So at this point, with 2 billion people logging on daily, we're talking like that's the size of Christianity, I think is what I've heard it last compared to. So it's a huge number of people. And the thing is that Facebook has gotten so sophisticated that I mean, it's really the go-to place. I mean, it's the first place that people are going to look for you. So it's super, super important to have one. And even as recent as 2 years ago, Facebook started really cracking down on people selling from their personal profile, which has definitely trickled out, over time. People are like, oh, don't sell from a personal page. Don't run business from a personal page. But really, I have seen Facebook delete pages that had 1 million fans, and just there's nothing you can do. If you break their terms of service, they come down on you so hard. And it's really tough because it's not that they, well, it is kind of that they don't care, but they have so many other things to do than worry about you losing some feature on your business page, or, they'll just, it's very much like we're very expendable. So you don't want to do something wrong. It's super important. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
So some quick facts: your business page can reach and retain viewers. Your business page has a secret weapon, the invite button. The invite button is so important, it's reason enough to have the page. So I don't know if your audience is familiar with the invite button, but it's a feature that I mentioned before we started that I was given access to in probably 2015, and I stumbled across it at that point. Maybe it was 2016, and it was a beta feature. So basically what the invite button is, in a nutshell, is if you post something on your business page and you've got everything set up like you're supposed to, you're doing legitimate business from your business page. If you make a post and more than 3 people like it, you can click on the little caption that says, Mary, Joe, Sam, and Bob like this. And when you hit, and it'll convert over to Mary, Joe, Sam, and 8 other people like this photo. And so you can click on that and a list will drop down.
Yeah.
And you'll see you can invite people. So that was the beginning of my building out my page. And this was the feature that got me in a ton of trouble because it was a beta. And at that point, Facebook wasn't really, it was just sort of a trial, feature. And they didn't really have a whole lot of rules about it, how you could use it, how you could misuse it. And they certainly did not expect to have a photographer who was posting local imagery that was then being shared, because like I said, the stuff I was posting, these are the background of this screen is my work. So it's all of these, colorful sunsets and sunrises. And when I would put a timestamp on them and say, like, I just shot this, people would share it. And so what would happen was that my invite list got really, really long, right? Because if 50 people liked that photo, then I would see the capacity to invite 30 of them to like my page.
Yeah.
And that feature, finally, after 2 years, they have, started talking about how that is a thing. But I cannot tell you how many times people, I mean, the conversations that were going on where some people had this feature, some people didn't have this feature. People were obviously really angry if they didn't have the capability to do this.
Yeah.
And Facebook just didn't care. It was very much like, well, it's just there on some pages. If you figure it out, if you find it and you use it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
But at this point where we are now, Facebook is very open about the fact that there is this feature. It's just that they have nowhere in any terms of service or anything, any explicit instructions on how you're supposed to use it or why or what it would do for you. But really,
sorry, Jen, I just wonder at this point if it might be useful if we can put up a business page to show the viewers where the feature is. I just think that would be really valuable in this moment, so we can actually see it. Do you want to bring up your business page, or shall I? I don't know whether I have the feature. I'd be quite interested to find out if I have the feature. Shall I put my page up?
Yeah, put yours up.
Okay, let's give that a go.
Do I have to stop the screen share to see yours?
I think we can take that off for now in a moment when I find it, and then we can always put it back on because I have a little box at the bottom that I can just oh, no. We might need to go through the process again to share your screen, but we know how to do that now, so it should be okay.
Okay.
And then we'll come back to your slideshow because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I haven't actually shared a screen with this software yet. Let me see if it's going to let me do it.
I just saw it down at the bottom. It says share screen, and then it prompted me to
I see
set the extension. Yeah.
I was looking in the wrong place. Now, let's go for a Chrome tab. That one, oh no, that's the community tab. So let's see, I'll just move this to,
Sure.
have a look. Is it going to let me do it? Well, there, my screen's a bit sluggish. Here we go. So I'll put this one up. And here we go. And I'm going to share that now. And I'll put us to the side. Hopefully it's still nice and visible.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so there we go. So this is my Facebook page. It hasn't had a lot of love for the reasons that you've said, actually, which is that you get penalized for sharing anything. So I use my Facebook profile for everything and then share from my profile page. I don't know whether that's the smart way to do it or not, but it's just what I was told. So it does need, this particular page needs some love, that's for sure.
Can you make it any bigger? Or
I can make it a full screen. I can take us off and make that.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
So have I got any posts on here? So I have videos. Would that work? Or
so just scroll back up to the top and we'll go through kind of from the beginning. So the first thing is, if you look at, so this is your business page, and you using your profile, a headshot for your profile picture is actually the best idea. And the reason for that is because you don't, Facebook's facial recognition software is phenomenal. And you're the only you in the world, right? So there's not, that photo and you exists nowhere else on the web except for maybe your own sites.
Yeah.
So you're being given a lot of points right off the bat for having a unique profile picture that is not stock imagery, right? So that's a good start. And then if we look at your banner image, where it says, want to learn how to monetize WordPress, join my free Facebook group. So there's a lot of stuff in this particular banner that you want to change because it's just hurting the reach of the page. And mostly it's not any one thing. It's just the fact that there's text with a image that is repeated right next to your profile. So you have to think of the Facebook web crawlers, they're like bots, right? It's fantastic. This is state of the art tech. I mean, we can't even dream what they're able to do. It's kind of scary, but
it's very scary.
It's definitely not beyond them to be able to see that the content is duplicated right next to itself. And so in Facebook's world, they will take points away for that. So you want to get an image for your banner image that is,
sorry, I'm just trying to put your face up as well.
There you go. So you want to get an image that is a unique image, even if it's something that you have to purchase from a photographer, something that you create in Canva that is just colors and designs, but Facebook hates text in images and it just penalizes heavily, 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 heavily. And in this case, with the WordPress trademark symbol, I would worry that that Facebook's going to be sketched out enough that they're going to bury that just because they don't want to deal with it. So because you're essentially talking about something that isn't a Facebook tool, and it isn't, right? WordPress has nothing to do with Facebook, right? It's okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about WordPress, but I do know that all logos, all trademarked anything, especially embedded in an image, they will it will definitely bury. It will just, it's like if you think of your page as starting at 0 before you've even gotten out of the gate, you've already got like negative 10 points because of these things. Yeah. And so this is what I'm saying. It's so upsetting because nobody knows. And unless you run into someone who's been in trouble with Facebook, you can't figure this stuff out. So,
wow. So instead, what would you put in that banner instead? Would you have any words at all?
I would take all text out. I would just use a stock photo. You know, I don't know if you have any photos from a vacation of your area, using something like of a beach or anything that is a completely original photo. So you can use Canva. You can, I wouldn't use any free stock image because think about Google search, right? It's been around forever at this point. And reverse image lookup by Google has been around for like 4 years. So all you would do is be able to, you could search the web using an image. So I could upload this image and it would bring me to your site. So you use the picture to search instead of a text term. And what was happening is that basically Facebook's technology is just better than that. And they know that all stock imagery exists somewhere else. It takes them like 0.60th of a millisecond to find where you got that picture. And so you're losing points right off the bat because they're not going to spend the time to figure out, is this person they just don't care. It's just, they see it as non-original content. So your best bet is to use something you shot because it has its own metadata. It has its own timestamp. It has everything it only exists for you. And so you can get a lot more points by using that, having that original content as your header image.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What about for people? How do they find out what your page is about?
Right. So you want to make sure that you're always following Facebook's. So they have their about section where they are really heavily pushing people to fill it out completely. So you want your office hours, your phone number, your address, a physical address is super important. And then all of these things that are all the call to action that you have, the like want to learn, join my group and stuff. All of that you can incorporate somewhere else. I mean, text in a post is okay. That's not the problem. It's text on top of an image that is really the biggest issue.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Because this is very common in the internet marketing world to do it and to have the arrows that point down.
Yeah.
For example, on your profile page. Presumably it's okay on a profile page to have these things, is it?
No, because the thing about having it on a profile is that they think of you as trying to skirt their terms of service, because they've said to all of us, you have to sell from a business page. If you don't start a business page, we're going to shut you down. And if we don't shut you down, we're just going to deep six all your content and you'll never get anywhere. So that's the thing, is that think of all of the all of the direct sales, they really have gotten hit so hard. Like I know a lot of women that own or do direct sales, and for a while Facebook Live was great for them, and they just got destroyed this year because their algorithm got so smart that it knew when they were selling on Facebook Live. And now you'll see them they'll during their live, they'll hold up a card that says, please don't say share, please don't say like, because the bot has gotten so smart, it's now it can recognize those trigger words, and then it takes points off of the reach of your page. So it's just it can be exhausting.
Wow, that's a lot to process.
I know it's painful. It really is not fun to hear. So I'm sorry to be the messenger.
So, for example, for me, I want to get people into my community. I want my community to grow. I want it to be, the more people we have, the richer the community is. If I can't advertise those things in my profile, on my business page, presumably I can't have a banner with words on from actual group either, by the sounds of things, telling people what I do. So what do we do to get the word out there other than paid advertising?
Well, see, that's the corner. So the thing is that if you are creating content, if this is Facebook's goal, if you're not going to pay them, then you have to navigate to Facebook. Like you have to go physically to Facebook's native, desktop business manager site. So no scheduler, because Facebook destroys you if you use a third-party scheduler. They will go insane. So all of that stuff, like Hootsuite, all of these programs have said like, oh, we're fine with Facebook. It's no problem. And they're not. It's not fine. And it does affect your reach, because Facebook rewards content that is the most original, the newest and most original and most current to the second. So if you schedule something, you're just telling Facebook, oh, actually, I created this a little while ago, but let's just pretend it's current. And they just destroy that. They want you to come to their platform, and then they want you to create brand new content that doesn't exist anywhere else, which is why they love what we're doing right now, right? Because we're on a live.
Yay, Facebook.
Yeah, so they love this. But so they're super excited that we're creating something that exists nowhere else, and it's being created in this second from their platform. The only thing we're doing is using a piece of software to help share a screen, but we're still originating from Facebook, right? So we're on their platform using their tool, and that's their goal. And since they own Instagram, and they have for 3 or 4 years at this point, this is all coming to Instagram. So all the people that are starting to be like, what's going on with Instagram? Why is it getting harder? This is just heading right to them. I mean, for Facebook, it's been this way for a while, but for Instagram, it is rapidly coming. So the thing to do, some people turn to paid advertising because they don't know what else to do. But the problem is we can never be as big or have the ad spend budgets as these huge companies. We just can't. So the alternative is to be small, right? To be a lot smaller, because we can do a lot of things that these big companies can't do, like interact and respond in a certain amount of time to comments, and figure out how do we push our post over the first sort of hurdle that Facebook sets up, so that we can then get it out to our people, and then more people and more people. And it's very possible to do this without paying to do it. It's just you have to know what you're doing, or how are you supposed to be successful?
Okay. Interesting, really interesting stuff. Now, I wonder if on this particular page, we can see where you were talking about for inviting people. So shall I make this, I'll take us away and try and make this full screen.
So just scroll down, and then do you have a post here that was liked by more than 3 people, or responded to by more than 3 people?
Yep, I have one here. So can you see? Yep, here we go. So this one.
Okay, so keep scrolling, and then
50. Oh no, 2 engagements. So not the like so much. This page, as I say, hasn't had a lot of love for all the reasons that you said.
Yes, exactly.
Here, so it hasn't. But I'm thinking one of my other pages might be better for this.
Yeah, sure. If you want to pull one of them up. Is it a business page? Another page?
It's a business page. I'm just going to see if I can. I don't know if I've got a direct link to it, so let's try here. Here we go. Let's see.
Yeah, so you've got one right there that I could see when you just scrolled over it. So scroll down to one of your posts.
And so this would be no good because it's come from Pixabay, right?
Right.
So yeah, okay. So I'm going to get penalized just as much for that.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be as much because you only have a little text there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they'll tell you, oh, it's fine. Like you bought the license, it's fine. But it's not, because they want their whole goal is to have original content that exists nowhere else, and that's what's rewarded the most heavily. So
Okay.
you know, there's just with the market saturation, it's worth it to at least understand what you're up against so that you can stop feeling like you don't understand the game that you're playing.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. I'm just a bit slow. Let's have a look. What we got here?
So go down. I think there was one where it said 7 likes, or you see where it says you and Matt Henderson. Well, then keep going down. You've got to find one that has like 6 people or more than 3. You'll see it.
Mm-hmm. It's a little slow, I think, because of the stream as well.
Oh, sure.
It's not letting me scroll. But I know that there must be likes. Oh, it's not playing ball for some reason. Here we go. Let's try. Because I have 415 likes of the page, but whether we have them on the post or not,
right,
matter. So I'll just keep scrolling down if it'll let me.
Try to. The other thing you can do is click on posts, and sometimes you can go through and see which ones had, different likes on them.
Yeah, let's have a look.
11, 1, 2, 3,
This is
10.
reached, but for some reason it's not letting me. It's loading very slowly.
Yeah, so it's just really pushing.
Come on. No, it's not playing ball, the technology, for some reason.
You have a page that maybe has less video on it?
I think we come. 9 people reached. What's this one? 47 reached, 6 engagements.
Mm-hmm.
Likes. What have we got here? 1 engagement. I think people have been liking the page rather than the post per se.
And also remember, if it's very actually possible that they've got a sort of a ratchet down on your page for some of these things that you just didn't know about. So it's just simply that people are not seeing your posts because you've done something that's gotten under their skin, and then we just have to figure out what.
Yes. I have shared things, so it could be that.
Sometimes it is that they don't love a URL link at all, for sure.
Right. Yeah. But, I think that my page is going to be a bad example. And as I say, I haven't given my business page as much love. So therefore, I'm not a great example. But I wonder if anybody else who's watching. Hi, everyone. I have put your messages up sporadically. So Carl Webb has said thanks for sharing. April Murphy has said hello there. Angel Pinaranda has said, hi, everyone. How's it going? It's great. We're all good. Thank you. Sergio Bedrosian has said hello. Guys, is there anybody out there who has a Facebook page that has more than 4 likes on a particular post? Because we're trying to demonstrate something here. Unless we want to go to your page, Jennifer.
Yeah, that's fine too.
That one, maybe that's a good option. And I have some work to do on my banners. I've only just finished redoing them, but wasn't aware of the Facebook algorithm. So that will go back on the to-do list. So anyone who wants their Facebook business page audited by Jennifer, now is definitely the time to jump in. So just let me know in the comments if you're interested. And meanwhile, we will just have a look at Jennifer's page so that she can illustrate for us how this like button or these 3 dots works.
Right. Okay.
Let's see. I'll take mine down.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm just trying to think. Oh, okay, let me do it this way. How did you keep us on the side and then also share your screen at the same time?
I don't know whether you have the same panels that I have.
Oh, right, I've gotcha. Okay.
StreamYard, I can arrange that. So as soon as the screen is shared, I can either make it full screen or whatever you like. So
Okay. Can you see this?
yes.
Okay, so if we look at, this is my Facebook page, and if we look down, so they love to do this. They love to try to get me to just be engaged on my Instagram account. I really do hardly a thing with Instagram because it's just so much to try to even find one, to understand one social media platform is exhausting, but then to focus on two is really exhausting.
It is, and yet at the same time, and this is what I tell the community, the KEM WordPress community, the greater and the more seamless your ecosystem, the better for your organic reach, so that you're not relying on Facebook. But yes, it's a massive job to learn each platform and keep them maintained and figure out all the secret rules.
Right. So for instance here, like this photo of the boat and the fishing pole and the light on the ocean or the river, you'll see, so you see here it says Lisa Miller, Linda Dyer, and 1.1 thousand others. If I click that, this is what opens. See all these things that say liked or invite?
Yeah.
So there was a time where this would be like 50 people that would just say invite. And I used to spend a whole lot of time keeping up with it because it was really important for me to grow as big as I could. So this is what I would do. So you see this, it says invite. Yeah. Now the speed of which that I invite people is what got me in trouble. So because I had lists of like 50 people that I could invite because of the content I was creating, so try to keep in mind that I was a local photographer, right? So I was sharing local content to my immediate city, which was being shared, and then those people were sharing it more. So I was getting these lists of a lot of people to invite, but this is the whole reason people put up with having a business page, like for only this feature. But you have to get to this feature because I can go down this list, and as long as I respect the rules that I've figured out, not that they tell anyone the rules, but since you figure out what they are, you can then go through and invite these people. And what happens when I invite them, the reason that this matters is that they get a notification right there on the lock screen of their phone, right there on the top of their Facebook page. That little red circle, it chimes up and it says, Jennifer Byrne just invited you to like her photography page. So I get all of their attention, 100%. So that's the whole reason that it's worth having this business page on Facebook, is because you need this feature really bad. And so if you can get to this feature, then you can start using it to build your page, but you have to be on a business account to have the feature.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because what I've noticed people are doing, and it's a little bit of a lateral point, but people are issuing friend requests by the bucket load, as I'm sure you know, and any woman out there in this new online world, you have to be very discerning as to who you accept, because you sometimes quite often get more than you want in terms of,
yeah, for sure.
If it's a male sending a friend request to another man, it's fine. They don't get that same, they're not leaving themselves open to the risk of it being abused.
Right.
Assume that it's a professional connection that's wanted, and that's the end of it. But as a woman, it's a different kettle of fish. So we have to be more discerning. And I don't know how many friend requests you get a day, but I get massive quantities, and it's time consuming. And they just stack up because I can't click, 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 like men do.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is that a lot of people that are sending these friend requests are doing so that they can then get you to like their page.
Well, they're I don't like that way of going around it, and unfortunately, I mean, it's only a matter of time, because that's considered spamming by Facebook's rules, and as soon as somebody reports it, like, it's going to take about 2 reports for those people to just have nothing left. I mean, Facebook is just super unforgiving if you abuse their platform. So that's so abusive to do it that way that I can't imagine them not just eat. I mean, they do this thing where they will shelve your content, and you don't really know that you've done anything wrong. You don't really know anything. It's kind of like they hope that you just get so bored you go away, because you never get any engagement. You never get anything because you've done something, but they're not going to tell you what you've done.
No,
there's no, and so the thing is that these are all the forces that are, people talk about, well, what is getting reach now, or what is working now? There's a lot of that out there, but it's also just, there's a lot of stuff that people just don't know about how these posts are put out into the Facebook stratosphere, and how your page is being awarded or points are being awarded or taken from you. And it's very much like a credit score, right? So it takes time, but beyond just this idea, like, it makes me so crazy when I hear people being like, just be consistent and engage and put out more content, and content is king, and all of those things are great. But if you've done something that you didn't even know you did, nobody's even getting to see your stuff. Like, you're posting it. Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I like to do is spread my wings further than just Facebook.
Yeah.
For that very reason.
Right.
But it happened to me. I got blacklisted, and I didn't know why or what was happening, but I wasn't able to put any post anywhere with any link.
Yeah.
Even if I was responding to somebody else, even in my own group.
Yeah.
I can get videos on. I get these notifications. This is in breach of Facebook community rules, and I couldn't figure out why. And as soon as I removed any link anywhere, it would let me put something on. And I got in touch with Facebook, and at first they said, well, I'm sorry, this whatever I was talking about wasn't related to advertising, because I think it was because it was in a group. Because in my own group, I couldn't post anything. So they said, we can't help you because we don't support anything that doesn't bring us in direct money through advertising, which is awful in itself. But I pestered and pestered, and someone must have picked it up. And what they discovered was that the algorithm had given me a false positive for spamming. Yeah. I was just unfortunate. And so they removed the block, and it was, I think it actually applied to every single Facebook account that I had. Yeah, it's very thorough. Digital agency, my Kiwi Earth Mother apparel range, everything. So it's scary. They have that power, and I'm just very fortunate that somebody was prepared to look into it and unblock me, or I would be absolutely paralyzed in terms of anything with Facebook. So exactly, because we all want, and the thing is that we all want to contribute in groups that matter to us, other groups, and I wasn't able to do that. So it's so frustrating, and I mean, in some ways, I feel like the only reason to build the page and to spend all this time and all of the blood, sweat, tears to manage it is to feel like there's something that you can be doing that can be rewarding, so when I found this invite button and I realized, oh, this is something that's big, and now you can find information about it. People call it the invite feature, and there's been even subgroups created on Reddit and everywhere else where people try to figure out what are the rules for the thing, and they change them all the time. But
if when you're first getting started, you don't need to be worried about if you invite, 10 people in less than 40 seconds, you're going to get tagged. And, there's all of these really sophisticated rules about it. And it doesn't sound like that stuff is super applicable to your audience right now, but definitely everyone listening with a business page, you should be going back in your old posts and looking for early content that you created that might open to the invite feature and invite those people. This isn't the same as sending a friend request, and it's not the same as spamming. As just do it slowly and make sure that you don't do more than 50 a day at this point, because there was a time we could do 500 a day, and that's long gone. But you can go back through and find all these things, find all your lists, find all the stuff that did well, and invite those people. You don't have to be worried like, oh, am I asking them to be my friend, or is this inappropriate for a business? It's not, because it's all you're doing is sending them an official request, and Facebook said that's fine. Like this, that's why we have this feature.
Yeah, that's really good to know. And I have a few comments here. I had to reload my phone.
Sure.
They're not showing on screen. I just had Angel Pinaranda said, so you said the picture is better with no text, and the answer to that is definitely a yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Randolph J. Lee says hello, and Peter Hines says hello. So hi to you guys. We don't have anyone that's actually wanted their Facebook page audited. I don't see that, but you know who Jennifer is now, and I'm sure there'll be lots of you that watch the video on replay, so you'll be able to reach out to her. I will make sure those contact details are there for you. Do you want to show any more of your slides, or
sure, or we can go, it's up to you. We can go back to your page and look at we can keep going through your page, or we can, whatever you.
If you feel that there's more, I put my page up because we can remove that. I thought it was actually your page, but if there's any benefit to looking at any more of my page, otherwise we can have a look at your slideshow again, whichever works best for you, Jen.
Well, yeah, let's look at the one that you have up here, just because there's other things that you can do that will be helpful to everyone. So let's see. Is this a page that you're still using, the Word to Art?
It is. It hasn't had much love lately because I'm writing my course.
Right.
And filming for my course that's launching on the 1st of June. So things are pretty busy with that. So no, It hasn't had a lot of love, but it needs some love, definitely.
Okay, so if you don't have a website, you must well be invisible. Okay, so this is the first biggest thing you want to not do, is have the URL anywhere in the text right here. So having the URL there, you're on Facebook creating a post, but then you're telling people to leave Facebook, and Facebook hates that, so they just smash it.
I don't think I have a link here. This was an image I loaded myself.
Oh, this one, word2art.nz. Is that?
Oh, where have I put? Oh, here. But there's no link.
That's right, but it still reads it as a site that you're trying to go to. So when it sees that any kind of a address, it just freaks, and it's like it used to be a little bit more lenient and actually like see if you were doing something with sales or what were but now they've just gotten so strict that they just, if it's a link, they just bury it.
Wow. Okay.
So in my case, just for reference, if I have a photograph that's doing really well, my thing that I'll do is I'll sort of push it through all these different hurdles and be engaging and talking to the people and doing all these things to get sort of a maximum engagement for the photograph. And then I'll let it go for about 6 hours just by itself, and it will sort of go and go and go all over wherever it's going to go on Facebook. And then about probably 6 hours after posting, I will go back into the original post of the photo and change all of that, all of this text right here. I will change that to just my online gallery site, the link to that photo to buy in my site. Because for at least 35 seconds, Facebook can't catch it. And so if I watch the back end of my gallery store, it just blows up with visitors that all go there before Facebook can squash the link. So, because I change it faster than they can smash it, but I've already let it go. You know, I've let the photo go out as sort of its own image. And so it's gotten all this credibility as being an authentic post, and it's you know, meaning all the things that Facebook wants. It's from their platform at the time. It's not scheduled. It's original content. It's highly engaged. It's all of these things. And then it's just like after 6 hours, I know now, well, it's not really worth my time unless I'm going to throw money at it, which I'm not going to do. So after 6 hours, that's when I change that header text. And in that time, I can see, you know, all of the people going to the gallery store where they get tagged and this whole other sequence. And so that's how I make those sales. But that's been this is an ever evolving strategy because
after the 6 hours, when you do that,
yeah,
how long do you think you get an advantage here before Facebook pick it up and then suppress it?
I think at this point, let's say it's one of my posts that has, let's say it's a post that's reached 2,500 likes in 24 hours. Well, if I think it's on track to reach 2,500 likes in 24 hours, about 6 hours in, if I'm seeing like 120 shares and a lot of long form narrative content, narrative comments, then I'll usually just sort of hedge my bets on, I'm going to go with them being even more strict than they every day. So I every single day think my window is shorter. So I'm just going to throw the URL out there, you know, and just, I know it's kind of like going down with the ship, right? Like I know that they're going to bury it. So I'm just going to, it's just like, I'm just going down with the,
Wow.
because for me, it's more important for me to get those sales, right? Than for that photo to keep going and being shared. Sometimes, you know, I don't want to make my audience angry either though, right? Because I care about them and they care about me. So I don't want to, you know, I can't do that with every post. It's usually the ones that are doing really well that I'll be like, lots of requests for prints, buy a print here and then stick the URL up, and I just know that that's it. Like I don't go back to the post after that because I know it's gone. But I've already gotten those people into the store, so that's fine.
In some respects, Jen, you probably have an advantage because when you say that on your banners you use images, that's very relevant to what you do. But if you do something that's not relevant to your image, that's quite a tricky one because you say the profile picture is really good to have, but you can't put you can't put your face in the banner as well because you get merit points for that. So it's almost like the banner then becomes not particularly relevant. It just becomes pretty because you can't really infuse any meaning. Whereas, but as a photographer, obviously you can.
Right.
So I guess I've just been reflecting on that.
Well, I'll tell you what Facebook really wants you to do with the banner at this point. I think what they would like your business to do would be to use a video, honestly, which I know is not the best thing to hear. But if you, I mean, I don't do any video, even as a photographer, which is so crazy. I mean, I'll do like lives and stuff, but like professional video where even if you just do, you know, if you just, I don't know, just do if you could do a selfie sort of, or a day in the life, or just if it was, you know, a friend filming you walking around your studio, drinking coffee, like something that was a interactive, completely original video, maybe where you had your office set up, or there was like some kind of way to know that this is what you were, you know, I think you could create a piece of content that would explain to people sort of what you do, but they definitely are pushing the video big time. And
that's actually music to my ears.
yeah.
For my KEM Biz in a Box, I have the video already there. I can put that on the back as well. It's not a problem. So that for me personally, that's brilliant advice.
Yes, perfect. So stick that right up there, and once, if you see people engaging with it, like once you stick it up there, try to pick a time of day. Don't just switch it out just because you know that you can. Like, wait until the best time of day for your audience that you think you could get engagement. And it might take some time to figure this out, but if you think, okay, well, 7 o'clock at night, a lot of people are sort of relaxing and scrolling through, maybe I could put it up then.
Yeah.
And if you see anybody commenting, liking, anything, you want to respond to them. If they say, oh, I love this video, you want to write back to them in more than 4 words. And you want to always use like a strong emoji. So the big heart or the big sad face or the big, some kind of thing. And then write that narrative to engage back. But my favorite trick with this, when you post something, is to go, so you're the admin of the business page, right? So you can log out of being you can switch from your business profile to your personal, and you can go back to your business page as yourself and talk to yourself. So I have students do this all the time. So you come back as yourself and you're like, I love this video. And then you respond to yourself as your business and you say, yeah, I'm so excited about this too. And the thing is, like, yeah, it does seem a little insane to talk to yourself, but nobody has time to keep up with this. And all you're doing is getting yourself over the original bump that you need to have Facebook see that somebody's engaging. So if you have to engage with yourself, fine. You can talk to yourself all day long. And you keep going back and forth, love your comments, laughing at yourself. And it's even better if you have a best friend that you can say like, hey, can you help me out? I'm about to post this. Will you just jump on and talk to me? And they'll be like, oh, I saw this last week, but I'm going to write anyways. And it doesn't matter because it's helping you. So you can do a lot of it yourself. And then you can also bring other people in and they'll start to catch on and be able to, for the first like 4 years of my business, my mom would comment on every single photo. And she'd be like, this looks so great, honey. And I would be like, thanks so much. That is so great. And she would be like sitting on the next couch over. And I'm still talking to her on the computer. So it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Wow. Really interesting to hear. With the, and I'm actually typing as I'm talking to you because I'm getting it all down. And I think on the reruns, when people replay this, I hope that it has a big reach because what you're saying is just invaluable. I'm just, wow. On the profile page, the Facebook profile page, so lose the words on the banner or stick a video on. Oh, that's the thing I struggle with personally with your profile page that all your friends see to then stick stuff on. It's quite tough, but that's okay. There's the space for the post image below, not post image. I don't know what they call it, but there's an image that goes below the description, isn't there?
Yeah.
Does that also need to have no text? Because that's it's a way internet marketers and anyone involved in internet marketing of any description tends to do. They have something there with arrows that point down to their one link. Is that something that Facebook penalized for, do you know? Or is it
I don't know. I think it would actually be okay, to be honest with you, because by the time someone's seeing that piece of content, they have had to navigate to your page. and they have to be on Facebook looking at your business page. So you're fulfilling what Facebook wants you to do, right? You're keeping people on the platform.
Yeah.
And the link, is the link going to your group? Where is the link directing?
I think the link's directing to the group, yes.
Okay, so if the link is directing to the group, you should be gold. I don't think that that's a problem. If it was a link directing off of Facebook, they would get after you. But even where it is, you're still keeping them, it's kind of secondary because you're still keeping them on Facebook to even see that information. Whereas like when I do my Hail Mary with the throw up the, gallery site link, I just don't care. I am literally sending this group of people right off of Facebook.
Yes, but you're very strategic about it, so I completely see that. But I mean, they give you the option to have links for websites and for everything in the description. Yeah. You're saying don't do it, even though they give you the ability to do it.
I mean, I think in the about stuff, anywhere it's like where it says like, oh, you can, I have all my links in there too for all of my stuff. I think all of that is fine. It's more in content that you are sharing to the news feed. That's where you don't want to ever use a link. And you don't even want to put a link in the comments at this point. A lot of people used to get around that by putting the link in the first comments. Like I would try to sell prints by saying, hey, lots of requests for this one, gonna add it to the gallery shop, details below. And you could kind of get away with putting the link in the first comment. And they very quickly caught on to that. So now it's kind of, if you put a link up, it's definitely gonna have a huge impact on the post, and as long as you use it strategically, it's fine. You just don't want to start any post with a link anywhere because it just won't ever be seen, Right.
But you can, but in the comments, it's okay to put the link.
No, I mean, at one point it was better to do it that way, and some people, I mean, like I said, because this is not made explicitly clear anywhere. There's no
it's like motherhood, isn't it?
That is true. That is absolutely true.
Sorry, go on.
But because it's to their benefit that people don't know this, because it's a natural weeding out process, right? Because then people that make these decisions for them, they don't have to filter. It's like you're putting up a red flag. You're literally putting a target on yourself. Yep. So you're making their life easier, and they're not gonna try to take that from you. So that's why it's important to figure these things out and to
No, that makes sense. I had another question about link shorteners. If you have any thoughts on that, because I was using Bitly for a while, and then because I used it on a solo ad that I ran, and I tested the link, and I found sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, and it was a shortener to my Facebook community. Yeah. Sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, and I'm having run the ad, I wasn't very happy about that, and I made inquiries, talked to a few people, and apparently Bitly is not good because the .ly relates to Lebanon, and a lot of browsers or countries, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but they're blocking them. So I think that's why it's hit and miss. So my question is, are shorteners from other companies where it's not .ly safe to use? What does Facebook think about it?
Well, so you have to remember, Facebook never will say anything, right? Because they just don't. They literally, they have a silence, like but just to keep it simple, don't ever, like no third-party software ever is welcome on Facebook, pretty much, ever, in any form. So if you make a collage using like there's various ways that you can put photos together that isn't using Facebook's slideshow feature for a business page. If you just use some silly app to make a collage, they're going to dock points just because you did that. So it's just, it's painful. It really is. But that's why the best thing to do is to go to Facebook, create the post from Facebook using the tools on Facebook at the time you want to post it. Because, and that's what I was naturally doing by default.
Yeah.
6 years ago because it was the sunrise, right? And I was at the sunrise at 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's how I figured this out, was because I just happened to be in that position. And I don't know that other people, I mean, I can see how it's developed over time, but even 2 years ago, I remember listening to the Buffer guys, the Buffer podcast, and they do a nice job like breaking down social media strategy and stuff. And they were saying, oh yeah, Hootsuite's fine, and third-party scheduling tools are okay by Facebook. And then like a month later, it came out, well, of course they weren't. Of course they're not, because Facebook doesn't get along with anyone. They don't want to get along with anyone. They don't need to. So,
well, they want to rule the world.
Right. And they just buy all of their competitors. So it doesn't, you know.
Scary, scary stuff. It really is. So remove the shorteners, in other words, from the length. Just go for the long lengths. That's good to know. I'm making notes so that I can share them with the group, but I would absolutely love for yours to be able to share the slideshow.
Oh, sure, for sure.
Do you want to go back to the slideshow?
Sure, if you'd like, I can try to finish it up real quick. I don't know how much time you have for the group.
We've been live for 1 hour and 11, so maybe if we can have a little look, then people will know what the slideshow's about, and then I can get people, if you would like the slideshow, then just send a message in the group and we'll get that off to you. Okay, so let's have another play with the share feature. So I will stop that screen.
Okay.
And I'll just put us back for now. And if you want to share your screen, then I'll put that one up, or you can push it up.
Oh, it's so weird. It says I am sharing. So
okay, let me add you. So let's have a look.
Oh, do you see it now? Is this?
Yeah. You have another screen that just needs moving out the way.
Oh, is that better? You see
perfect.
It?
Yes, perfect. VIP tips. We see that.
Great. So this is why I'm saying, because of the invite feature, it's worth it to stop. I see people overthinking this all the time, and they're saying, you know, should I create a business page? I should do research about the business page. I should get all my content together for the business page. But it's not, it doesn't matter, because no one's going to see it until you've created a score for it. So as soon as you've started it, it's not like it's being broadcast out and you're not getting any reactions. It's like your family and friends would see that you've created one, but unless they spend a lot of time on Facebook, they probably aren't going to even notice it.
Yeah.
So once you have the page, do not start randomly posting all the things. Freeze and think. So I use that as a tip, because this is where people get in a lot of trouble right off the bat, is that Facebook doesn't really give a lot of second chances. They're more lenient on pages under 100 people, because they want for smaller pages, they don't want people to stop using Facebook business pages. They want us to create them, and they want to try to help you feel successful. But if you start like trying to sell things and posting links and posting canned content, they just don't have time for you. So canned content is never useful and is in fact damaging to your page. In this particular sentence, I'm talking really a lot about, like, in the United States, we have a couple of big real estate firms that send all of their agents, you know, like social media share packages, where it's like the same image that they've sent to, you know, 50,000 agents, and they all are supposed to post it at the same time. Like, it's just the worst idea, because Facebook, of course, knows that that's canned, non-original content.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to get into that. And I never mistake your social audience or Facebook for a fool. They can see inauthenticity from a mile away. So if you just stick with that kind of the thought pattern of creating original content from Facebook at the time you want to post it, and just being as original and as human as possible, you'll do the best, because that's what keeps people on Facebook, which is Facebook's full goal.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes
a lot of sense. One question with from what you've said, if you are penalized for a post, that's historical though, hey? So you don't need to take historical posts down. So you don't take your post down that you've added your link to after the 6 hours.
Right. No, I mean, you have to think of Facebook as kind of a rolling, you know, it after 2 weeks, any piece of content is history on Facebook. So the relevancy timeline of if you can think of the lifespan of a post, let's say I take like this one that is the background for this slide of the sunset. This is the Potomac and the sunset. So this one did really well because it was, you know, this big, beautiful sea and the big, beautiful sunset. And let's say after about 3 days, even if it was doing great and I hadn't sort of sunk it myself by putting the URL store link, I still would stop engaging with it. And at this point, after about 24 hours, I don't really go back to other posts and even answer comments because it's done. I mean, that's what's hard for people, is that the content is coming so fast that your best bet is to keep it really simple. Go to Facebook every day, make a original post that's super human, and keep it, and don't do any selling, you know, from a personal page. And those are the things that are going to keep your score higher.
Okay. No selling from a personal page. Wow. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Good to know. I'm going to add that to my notes because I think everybody will want to know about that when I write a follow-up post for this. And no selling from personal page. Okay.
Yeah. And okay, so this is just about, you know, how Facebook in June of 2016, they decided to, or Zuckerberg basically said, I'm going to forever and ever prioritize family and friends content, and the business pages and everybody else is going to get 25% of the news feed, and the 75% of it goes to family and friends. So that's our challenge, is to work with that 25% of the news feed and somehow turn that into something successful, which is what we can actually do. It's not as bad as you think.
Yeah. Okay.
Really nice. So you can never compete with huge companies, but they never can be as small as you. So this is one of the biggest things that is super helpful to remember, is that these big, like for Pepsi or Coca-Cola, their social media teams, first of all, their pages are held to a different standard because they are corporate pages. So even though you might think that you're competing with them, you're not really, because they don't have the invite feature after 100,000 people, and they are much, they have to spend a lot more money to get the same reach. And switching back and forth between your personal profile, talking to yourself on your business page, like I talked about earlier, that you can't imagine. I mean, Pepsi isn't going to do that. Like you can't have somebody that isn't a big company using their personal profile to talk to themselves on their business page. So we have that capability. They don't have that capability. So we just want to use all of our little tools that are helpful to us. We want to get the most out of them. So given the fact that you are the admin of your business page, you've doubled your presence on Facebook, and you can talk to yourself. So you can create, it's like having double the engagement just handed to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So this is just talking about how you can't really get around Facebook. I mean, in a nutshell, it's their platform. They make the rules. And as upsetting as it is to hear some of this stuff, it's worth just accepting it's just the way that it is. This is the cross posting that we talked about, because businesses can now, if you have, if you can switch back and forth from your personal page to your business page, you can also share from your, you can share as your personal page from your business page, right? So you can, there's no rules against using a personal page to share business posts. So you can, having those capabilities, you're able to get your your business content out into the 75% of the newsfeed that family and friends are seeing. So you can put your business content right in there as long as you're doing it from your personal page and you're not selling, right? So if you're sharing a business, your own business page post to your personal profile, you're totally within terms of service.
Wow, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
So sharing business page posts to personal profile, powerful and allowed. Fantastic.
And
great.
Yeah. So for example, every year I do a holiday calendar where I take, my 12 favorite photos from the year and I sell calendars. So during that sales time, right before Christmas, I will ramp up a couple of posts where I'll do a calendar pre-sale, and it won't be a post with a link to the store, but I will share that information to my personal profile. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's friends and family. And so I'm getting my message out about my business in a local community, and it's sales, but it's through my business page. So it's totally fine. And a lot of the people that love and support me and support my business, they may not be seeing my business page posts, but they are definitely seeing my personal page posts. Mm-hmm. So if you share that on your personal page, I'll get tons of calendar orders from the local community because they saw it there, not because they saw it on my business page. So you can use these two accounts really strategically.
Yeah, no, that's great, because most of the for example, the friend requests that come to me are business related, but they go on the profile page, don't they? Because they become a Facebook friend. So therefore your reach is much greater on your profile. So that is a very smart way of doing it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So this, when I wrote this originally, this slideshow is probably a year out of date now. And this one says, when you post an image, your audience has about 10 minutes to like, share, or interact with the image before Facebook puts it on the shelf. This is actually a much shorter time now. Your audience, so when you make a post, only 3% of your audience is allowed to see it. And you have 60 seconds to have enough interaction on that post. That's why I want you to go from your personal page and talk to yourself during that 60 seconds. You have 60 seconds to get enough engagement to have it shown to another 3% of your audience, and you're allowed another 2 minutes to have more engagement, and they will show it to another 5% of your audience.
So, and that's it. So, from 3% originally to 5%, and that's all you get.
No, because if you make it past, so let's say they show it to 1%, 3%, 5%. If you made it to 5%, they start giving you extra points, because that means that people like your content. So, and if you've got at 5%, you'll start seeing a lot of long form comments. And so you just talk to those people. I'll sit in my car in my driveway for 45 minutes because I have a photo that's doing really well, and I can see my husband from the kitchen window waving at me like dinner's ready, and I'm just like shaking my head at him like I'm gonna sell this picture in 6 hours, and I can see it's going that direction. So I'm gonna sit in my car and talk to these people on my phone to make sure that that photo gets the footing it needs to get out there.
Wow. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very,
So
very interesting.
after 10 minutes, the Facebook will consider it dead and sort of bury it. I mean, that all of that is pretty, yeah. I mean, all of that is pretty relevant. I would say it's gotten stricter since the time that I originally wrote this.
It makes you think about Facebook in a completely different way.
I know, it is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. Okay, so this is just about using their other page, going back and forth, and getting as enough, points as just to get it to the point where it's shown to the next section of your audience.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that is important really is because once you get to 5% of your audience, then you're starting to get new people in. And remember, the first thing we learned, once you get those new people in, you can invite them. And so that's how you then invite and grow your page, because you're putting out, if you can get your posts over these hurdles,
yeah,
and into what Facebook used to be before it became so strict, you can then grow a successful page pretty easily. You just have to get your content out, and it's to Facebook's advantage to just not have this. No, so I definitely am not above telling my best girlfriends. I mean, I used to, like I said, I had my family help me. I would if my husband doesn't do any social media whatsoever. He's like he doesn't even have a Facebook account at all, nothing. So he's not of any help. But if you have a best friend that is willing to just keep a lookout, and anytime she sees your business post, she's willing to jump in and say something completely redundant, it doesn't matter. It just, if she loves the post and then writes a sentence, it will help you enormously.
Because people like all the time, because it's an easy thing to click on the like button, but to actually write something is that's really, really good to know.
And
sorry, go on, Jen.
Oh, well, I was going to say the sharing feature, up until about 2 months ago, there was all these rewards if people shared content, and then it became a really spammy thing to do, to ask your fans to share your stuff. So they just started using it against you instead of for you.
Yeah, that's also interesting, the share and the like. So in that's in lives, that's whatever, you shouldn't use those words. Is that
yeah.
Wow. Now, I did have a question for you, and I think we should probably come to a close.
Sure.
Just time-wise, at this end, being a mum, children to pick up. So what I wanted to ask was, did you want to say something about your one-on-one Facebook coaching?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I once I realized that I had figured all of this stuff out, and it was super useful to all sorts of business owners. I started doing strategy sessions, one-on-one, just like this, where we go through a Zoom call, and it's like a 75-minute call, and I look at your Facebook page, and we can go through and see what is holding you back, what has hurt you, what could be hurting you, and just sort of clean it up and make sure that you know all of the things you need to do to give yourself a fighting chance, essentially.
Brilliant. So I will include the service in a post, and feel free to add your own detail as well on there, and
sure.
Get the word out, because what you've shared today, enlightening is an understatement.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I'm glad to help. It's why I do it, and it's why I wanted to talk to your viewers, is because I know, as a mom of 3 and a business owner, and you're just beating your head against a wall trying to understand. And I think I have a unique position, just because I've happened to see this from the beginning, and gotten myself in enough trouble with it that I was able to find out what rules I was breaking and what I was doing wrong. And So yeah, I'm happy to help for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jen. It's been absolutely fascinating and really great to have you in our community as well.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been an absolute delight. So thank you so much, Jennifer, and thanks to everybody that's tuned in and anyone that watches this on the replay. Feel free to put the comments in, and I'm sure Jennifer will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thanks so much, guys. Until next week, we'll
Good to
chat.
see you.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.